Hey guys, in this video I will be comparing 2005 Ronnie Coleman and 2017 Phil Heath. Both versions are from their last Olympia win, so it will be interesting to see who is in better shape for their final title. Before the video starts, if you guys could like and subscribe, it would be much appreciated as it helps grow my channel. Also, if there are any video ideas you would like me to make, please comment any ideas down below as I always consider them. With that all being said, let's get into this video comparison. Starting off this comparison is the first shot, the front double, and wow, take a look at the arms on both guys. Both have incredible separation and muscularity throughout the triceps and biceps. However, I would definitely say that Ronnie pulls ahead slightly in that department. I will add that Phil is winning in the forearms, which are definitely overlooked nowadays. Both men don't have the most aesthetically pleasing midsections, however, Ronnie does have a more symmetrical one while Phil's is smaller. Lat flare is great for both men, and the same can be said about the quad size. I think Ronnie edges out Phil in the separation of the quads, but does lose in the calf department. Overall, Ronnie presents better arms, peeled quads, a better V-taper, and a better midsection, while Phil has more symmetry throughout the arms, a smaller waistline, and better calves and forearms. I think I will give the point to Ronnie here since he does look more impressive and doesn't have as bad of a midsection like Phil does. The front lat spread used to be an amazing shot for Ronnie, but it was never an outstanding one for Phil. Both have definitely seen better days in this pose, however, neither look terrible. Ronnie's upper body width and crazy condition throughout the chest and shoulders is just phenomenal. However, his lats don't fill out as well as they used to. His quads are still massive and show great separation, and I would say that he wins the lower body between the two men. Phil arguably fills out the pose better in the lat region specifically, and he has muscle bellies that are just so bubbly and three-dimensional throughout his chest, shoulders, and arms, but he doesn't have the structure to compete with Ronnie. His quads are massive as well, but aren't as separated, and his midsection really throws everything off in my opinion. Ronnie just looks more complete and natural in this pose, so he is definitely beating Phil. Here's the side chest, and I think this is where Phil can start to make up some ground. His 3D bubbly muscle bellies are on full display, and you can clearly notice them in those triceps, biceps, shoulders, and in his chest. His side leg looks on point, with his hamstrings being better than Ronnie's here, and even his midsection looks flawless. Ronnie looks good too, however, he doesn't look as fresh as he once did. His arms and shoulders don't look nearly as good as Phil's in terms of condition, and his side hamstring leaves something to be desired. His chest is ridiculous though, with crazy striations and fullness, and his midsection is still tight. However, Phil just presents a better overall package and does win the point. The side tricep was always an interesting shot for Ronnie since he either got it right or seriously wrong. Here in '05, he doesn't look bad at all. His midsection is in check, the chest is super full, his tricep and shoulders are striated, and his leg shows great separation and condition. Although he doesn't really look terrible, Phil looks so much better throughout the arm itself. His tricep seems to be twice as large as Ronnie's. It's equally as striated and looks insane. Phil's delt looks larger too, and his side leg detail and size is equally as impressive. Ronnie does beat Phil in the midsection and chest in my opinion. However, I would say that Phil has it where it counts, namely in the tricep and the arm as a whole, so Phil will pull ahead in this pose. Here's the rear lat spread, and guys, both men present incredible development here. You guys may be wondering why they are around the same height, and I will tell you it's because Ronnie leans way forward and Phil remains upright. Speaking of Phil, look at the density and dry condition of his back. While he may not be as wide as Ronnie, he presents crazy detail and thickness, which places him on an even playing field. Ronnie's rear lat spread used to be one of, if not the best of all time. However, here in 2005, you can sort of notice that his back itself isn't at 100%. However, it still is super wide, and he showcases tremendous thickness throughout the traps, an area where he beats Phil in this shot, and his lower body is destroying Phil's. Look at Ronnie's glutes, they look to be twice as large as Phil's, and his hamstrings are huge, ripped, and dry. So, while the upper body is definitely debatable, it is not a question that Ronnie wins in the lower half. Now, between the two backs, I would say that Phil has a slightly better one. Although he isn't as wide, he showcases more detail than Ronnie and has a thicker lower back and also looks to be more dense throughout the lats. That being said, Ronnie is barely losing in the back department, and he is dominating throughout the legs, so I think I would give him a slight advantage here. Here's the rear double, and once again, guys, these back poses are just insanely good for both men. Taking a look at Ronnie, he once again wins in the lower body without a debate. His glutes and hamstrings are just otherworldly, and while Phil has an impressive lower half, he still manages to look human. That being said, Phil does win in the back department once again. While he isn't as wide as Ronnie, he has immense detail and thickness, and is more symmetrical. You can notice that Ronnie's lats aren't symmetrical and that one is slowly creeping upwards. It doesn't look too bad, but it is definitely bad enough to slightly throw off his symmetry. Ronnie does take another win though in the arm department, having the better bicep peaks, and also he has slightly larger and better shoulders in my opinion. The outcome of this pose seems to be very similar to the last, since Phil wins in the back department itself while Ronnie wins in every other aspect. The upper bodies are extremely close here, however, Ronnie manages to seal the deal when we move to the lower half. So for that reason, Ronnie takes this point. The ab and thigh was never a good shot for either of these guys, maybe even their worst pose. Phil really looks bad here. His midsection is so messed up, and his narrow clavicles don't help create a good V-taper whatsoever. His quads do look massive and full, but I can't take my eyes away from that terrible, terrible midsection. Ronnie isn't much better in that area either, having an unaesthetic set of abdominal muscles as well, and a wide waist. However, his midsection is clearly defined, and he creates a much better V-taper with those flaring lats. His quads, once again, have much more separation and are equally as large as Phil's. Ronnie's overall package just looks so much better here. Much, much better, definitely. So I think he will get the point in this pose. Here's the last pose, the most muscular, and both men really step it up from that last pose. Ronnie looks flawless in the crab most muscular, having crazy arms and delts, separation and striations for days throughout the upper body, and large quads. Phil looks equally as good in his hands clasped most muscular, and wow, take a look at those arms, guys, absolutely insane. His quads show some incredible separation here as well, and his chest and shoulders are truly popping. Both men have their midsections in check as well, and I really can't pick out any flaws for either man. I guess it really comes down to preference here, and personally, I like Phil more. His arms and delts create an incredible amount of wow factor, and he looks super natural in a shot like this. Let me know in the comments down below who's most muscular you prefer and why, because I would definitely like to know, and it would be cool to add to this video. Alright guys, so that about does it for this comparison. To summarize the results, I had Ronnie winning 5-3. Some shots like the back poses are definitely debatable, however, I think Ronnie's unbeatable lower body sealed the deal in those shots. Overall, I think Ronnie presented a slightly more impressive package for his final Olympia win, however, Phil really looked good too. If you guys liked the video, please consider liking and subscribing, comment down below any thoughts or ideas, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.